Hello, hello, hello to everyone, and welcome to the latest edition of the first edition. And today we're going to be creating our very own anime pilot, so to speak. Of course, it's not going to be an actual anime. It's going to be more along the lines of a prose version of manga. But this is going to be a continuation of if you were here for Let's Write a Manga and the episode by the Five Man Band. And this is going to be a relative continuation of those. So we're going to take the characters we developed, the setting we developed, along with the characters we developed, and we are actually going to put them to work. And we're going to make an actual story together using the Kisho Tenketsu story structure. So, I think now would be a good time to get started. Shall we? And we're back with the first edition. I am your humble host, the Literature Devil. And now, before we get started, speaking of writing stories, if you don't know already, I do have a comic for sale. I'm creating a comic now. It's available on Indiegogo, Dr. Alpha Miracle Child, and it is now reaching $9,400 out of 25,000. We're getting there. We're getting there at 37%. We are just 600, maybe $575 away from $10,000. We're doing good. We're doing good. We're doing good. With 41 days still remaining. Now I do have a couple of perks here. If you don't know about the perks yet, the first perk gives you the digital copy. Second perk gives you a physical and a digital. The comic is estimated to be around 80 to 100 pages. The third perk gives you a poster, a signed physical copy, and a digital. And the featured tier is the Alpha class, of course, which gives you a digital, a signed physical, a poster, and a t-shirt that says, "Please ask me about my evil agenda." And then, after that, we still have tiers left for if you want to be drawn into the background as a background civilian. And we still have as far as I know, we still have five slots left if you want to be drawn in as a background superhero. Unfortunately, all the supervillain slots have been taken. All 10 of them have been taken. So if you want to be a villain, unfortunately, that's it's a little story been purchased. But we do have a background. Do have 5 background slots for superheroes left. And if you ever wanted to have your own superhero appear in a comic, now's your chance. It'll be in the background, and but you can still come up with your own theme, powers, look, etc. And it'll be in there. It'll be in there. And of course, those tiers come with every single thing you get in the Alpha class. So you get drawn in as a superhero. You get a signed physical copy. You get a poster, a digital copy, everything, T-shirt, everything. So it's still on Indiegogo. We still have 41 days left. Just want to go over that before we get started. And let's see here. All right. And here we go. Here we go. I have it up here so that we can remember the characters we have so far, since we haven't named them yet. Our 5-man band, in case you haven't remembered or forgotten since last week. And unfortunately, we're doing this on Saturday again because I was on Raging Golden Eagle's stream on Friday, and it was pretty good because we got a book funded. It didn't look like it was going to get funded. It had 75% of his goal met by the start of the stream, and by the end of the stream, it had 125%. That's because it only had about 5 hours left. 5 hours left to raise $4,000. And I didn't really think it was going to work, but it did. It ended up working, and not only did he make it, he made it to about 125%. That's the Rodents of Mayhem, I think. I backed it. It looks pretty fun. It's at 90s Ninja Turtles feel to it, so it's pretty good. It looks like it's going to be pretty good to me. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and run over the characters we have so far, in case you've forgotten. So let's see. The leader is a dragon sorcerer. If you remember, he is going to be our protagonist, and he's going to have some sort of restraint to him because of his ambitious tendencies with magic. So then now he has that psychological drawback that keeps him from fulfilling his full potential. But he is also in his blood runs the blood in his veins runs the blood of a dragon, a devil dragon. And second, we have the Lancer, the wizard girl, who is kind of haughty, kind of self-important, self-centered. Third, we have the kind of pervy fox girl enchantress, who's going to be working in the library to help pay for her tuition. And she's that type that has the thick glasses, you can't really see her eyes. She's kind of kooky, kind of keeps to herself sort of thing. She's actually shy. She actually keeps to herself. So she doesn't have a psychological restraint. She's just sort of reserved. And then we have the big guy being the Catgirl Shaman. She's from the Beastlands, and I think we agreed last time that she's going to be an evil shaman, but she's so bad at being evil that she ends up helping people instead. So the last one is the Heart, who is going to be the priestess, and the priestess at the moment is kind of a contrast because she has that roguish prankster roguish prankster sort of personality, which is why they sent her to the priesthood in the first place, to sort of balance that out. And down here we have the Kisho Tenketsu formula. So basically, your typical anime episode will more or less follow this formula, depending, of course, on the series. But usually, if it comes from Japan, it's probably going to fit this formula, or at least we'll be able to. And so here we go. So the introduction is just the part of the episode that paints the scene, paints the setting, sets the rules, puts everything in play, and of course introduces the characters. The development is when something happens that will kind of spark and lead us into the main portion of the episode, which is 10. It leads us towards 10, which is the twist, which is a reversal of fortune, pretty much. And this is kind of where the climax of the episode will be. And then we get to Ketsu, which is the conclusion. So basically, a reversal of fortune happens here, a twist of some kind, some sort of revelation. And unfortunately, I can't. Let me see if I can make this bigger. Let me see. I don't. Oh, here's font. There we go. A little better. A little better, I think. There we go. The characters: the Dragon Sorcerer is the leader, Wizard Girl is the Lancer, Fox Enchantress is the smart guy, Cat Girl is the big guy, Priestess is the Heart. And despite being roguish and kind of a prankster, she still is the Heart. Is the person who brings feelings and helps keep the band together. So let's see. The introduction will be painting the setting, the characters, and putting everything in place. What this means is that kind of think of it as cooking. So in this instance, you want to have all your ingredients together. So that's what you want in the introduction. That way, nothing will be Deus Ex Machina or cheap anyway. Let me see. There we go. Go. Better. It fits. Now this way we prevent Deus Ex Machina, and we prevent Mary Sue's, so that we set up everything in the introduction. We set up everything in the introduction, and then everything we have in the introduction or have set up in the introduction will be the only things we can use throughout the story. And it could be anything from directly stated to implied. So you can be like a character can have a gun, and then of course you can have the gun. You can use the gun the character has throughout the story, or it can be something implied, like a magical rule, like you can only cast magic after sacrificing a flower of some kind, and that will take place, and you can that way anyone can sacrifice a flower and cast good magic, cast workable magic. And let's see here. The Born Enthusiast, do you make your backgrounds yourself and your avatars? They're really, yeah, I do. I made them all myself. I didn't really want to pay an artist to do those, so just trying to stay as low cost as possible. And let's see. So that's the goal for the introduction. So keep it in mind as we go through the introduction. We'll take this one piece at a time. So as we go through the introduction, we will go ahead and make sure we have everything we need for the rest of the plot. Now, you don't have to start off perfect. If we find out we develop something, if we go towards maybe we get to development or twist, and we say, "Oh, this would be cool if this happened," we can then go to the introduction and add it in somewhere. That way, it can be present and introduced already, so we can use it. This is what Neil Gaiman calls the second draft, and the second draft is the draft where you make it look like you know what you're doing. It's the writer's trick. Let's see. So the introduction, and being this is the pilot episode, the pilot story. It's going to have a lot of various tasks that we need to do. So first we have to introduce the world and the character and the entire premise of the series. And how to do that is we have to set up kind of like a way to do that. Usually in anime, as far as I've seen, they tend to pair the main character, and usually the main character is kind of ignorant of the world around them for some reason. So what happens is the main character either meets someone who is more knowledgeable than they are, or they have a mentor who can teach them the ways of the world and how things work. So that way we can have a organic exchange instead of the writer just typing out exposition. So what I would think about this is that the leader, the dragon sorcerer, would start off maybe walking down the road, heading towards the school, heading towards the magical school, and then there is a chance encounter. Like there's going to be maybe one of the first person he meets is going to be being attacked by, I don't know, some sort of monster or something, and that will get us where we need to be. So that will allow us to have things be introduced. And keep in mind that we can have a opening fight. It won't be the development. The development would be leading us into the overall story, the story that's overarching the entire episode. Let's see. So that's what I would do in this scenario. I would go ahead and probably pick the leader, put him in the introduction, because of course we have to have the leader. But I think we're going to have the first person he meets be the Fox Girl Enchantress. So it's up to you in the chat. Would you rather them be traveling together already, or just having a chance meeting where maybe the Fox Girl Enchantress has gotten herself a little bit over her head, and the Dragon Sorcerer kind of tries to run in and help, and they kind of run away because as soon as he jumps in to help, he has yet to discover his sorcerer powers, and he's not a very good wizard, so they both get in over their head. What would you rather have happen? And remember, we don't have to introduce every single character in the first pilot episode. We can have this whole pilot episode just be the Dragon Sorcerer and the Fox Enchantress, and then the second episode will start introducing different characters that will join the party eventually. There's two different kinds of formulas to this. So you don't have to keep in mind that we're not obligated to introduce all the characters to begin with, because if this were a series and we introduced the fact that this is a series about a school, then that's implication enough. So we can, after it's implied that all sorts of characters and people go and reside at the school, then we can introduce a new character without any problems, even if it's one of the new characters introduced in the second episode. So let's see. Hex Harper question: should we try to introduce every character in the first episode, or just a couple of them? I would think just a couple. That way we can keep the plot more focused. If we try to introduce every single person, it might be a little more complicated, but it depends on the plot that you want to do. So, I mean, this worked in Justice League. The first episode of Justice League introduced everyone, and because the plot was big enough, because it threatened the world, so every powerful superhero in the world came together all at once, coincidentally. Let's see here. Flying Turret 208, Kishonten Shoki should be how stories are written. They always want the end in mind. Exactly. So this is a really interesting character, really interesting plot structure. Really interesting plot structure. Because it's 4 parts, and each part has so much to do with the entire narrative. But it kind of flows. But the thing is, it doesn't necessarily rely on conflict. Although conflict can be in there, a central conflict is not absolutely necessary. The Board Enthusiast, what if there is a massive fight between 2 monsters, and once the dragon wins, it transforms into the MC to reveal who he is? And the Fox Girl finds her battered after the fight. Finds him battered after the fight. That could actually happen. I mean, in fact, that's exactly what we should do, considering this is an anime, because in the pilot episode, when we have a setup like this, where the character has hidden powers, usually, from what I've seen, is that the character struggles, and then about here in the twist of this episode will be, hey, the main character actually has incredible powers hiding somewhere within him. He has great potential for power. So that would be the twist, I think. That would be the proper twist here, because the twist would be, hey, this guy's actually not useless. He's actually pretty good. I remember the pervy Fox Girl tries to keep. I think she's trying to keep it a secret, if I remember correctly. Flying Turret 208, the perv spying on the MC would make since the first start. Where she's like spying on him, walking down the road, and then she gets jumped by some monsters or something. Let's see. SD Ravana, is this anime an isekai? If so, the protagonist must go to the magical otherworld in the first episode. I think we're gonna go ahead and stay away from isekai for the for the time being. The infamous isekai. The Board Enthusiast. Then the Dragon Sorcerer wakes up with no memory of the fight, and the Fox Girl brings the MC to her school because he can use amazing magic. Well, that could work. That could work. Maybe he doesn't know. Maybe he's kind of empty-headed. You know, he's kind of like a Goku type in that sense. But he can be smart. But he's kind of a little socially inept, maybe. So he doesn't realize that he has to have, you know, a letter of recommendation or something like that to get into this prestigious magical school. So he's just going over there, and he's like, "Hey, I'm headed to the school." And then the Fox Girl's like, "You can't go to the school. You don't have all the paperwork together." He's like, "Paperwork." That could be what happens. Hex Harper, I vote the sorcerer is alone. School bag slung over his shoulder. Something minor but crazy happens. Apple pie turning feral, whatever. He steps in to help. Show his general good nature / heroism. Yeah, I think that'll work. A Board Enthusiast, but when he goes to school, he has trouble using magic, and the other students make fun of him. What did you mean, amazing magic? You can't even do basics. Yeah. What was it? Do your best, and then he can't really do his best because he doesn't know how he did what he did. And that would be interesting. That would be interesting. So we're going to start off with, let's see here. Let's see, we're going to start off with the Dragon Sorcerer alone, walking towards the school. Walking down the road towards the school. Now, where do we want to place the fox enchantress? She could be trying to practice her enchantments on the way to school. It's just trying to warm up so that she can pass some sort of entry exam or something. That could be it. That could be the first. That could be the overarching story, passing the entry exam, and that's why she's practicing in the first place. And the entry exam, they have to overcome the obstacle in the first place. So what we can do is have them both get into trouble with a powerful monster, and then they manage to escape, and then the development will be that they meet together. They exchange pleasantries after they escape with their lives, and then the fox girl, they start to talk, and she finds out that the main character is trying to attend the school, and she says that you can't just walk in, that you have to pass an entry exam. And that'll be our development, and then the development will lead us to more introductions into more of the school and everything, and development keeps developing, and then the entry level exam commences, and then the twist occurs when they're about to lose and fail and be lose consideration for entering this prestigious school, and then the twist occurs when we find out that the main character has special sorcerer powers, and then after that is that they win and the conclusion happens, which is a kind of a falling action part. So let's see, let's see, let's see. Let's see. A flying turret 208. Twist, he is powerful. Conclusion, his powers have a drawback. Development, he gets drawn to school after some incident. So is this Genghis Khan? So is this anime a school anime? I guess it could. I guess you could say that it's a school anime with a fantasy setting. Hex Harper having an argument with the lady at the front desk when the lead arrives. Could happen. Hex Harper at school. SD Ravana make the Fox Enchantress despise the main character. Flying Turret 208. During the entry exam, he comes under attack by something. Yeah. So the entry exam is one thing, and then the difficulty gets multiplied because something else interferes. And see, the board enthusiast, I like that. She could be working hard to learn a new technique in secret when she finds him. School bell chimes. Oh no, I'll be late for class. Yeah, that scenario sounds good, because then we can set up the fact that she is also pretty good at her job. So we can have an instance during the development, during their entry exam, where she casts that magic secret spell, and it seems to work, and then the problem escalates. Stakes get raised, and her new spell is no match for the power of the entry exam, whatever it is. And that is when we're pushed to the limit. That's when we get the main character being pushed into revealing his powers that he didn't know he had. Flying Turret 208 and SD Ravana, the Enchantress, isn't the Lancer, it's the Wizard. Let's see. Hex Harper, that works too. Flying 208, we already have two characters just like the main character, the chick and the Lancer. That's right. I forgot. We do have two that dislike him at first. Let's see. Let's see. So, yeah, we can have the main character walking towards the school, and then by happenstance, the main character stumbles upon the Fox Girl Enchantress. I think that might work, and she's for some reason I'm seeing the main character as one trick I like to do is assign colors to different characters, and the colors will be shorthand for their personalities. So I was thinking blue for the Dragon Sorcerer because of his passive personality. I was thinking blue. For the Fox Enchantress, I was thinking yellow. I want to make you to seem like a yellow person. The wizard girl is, I got her as red because of her fiery personality. The priestess is her color. Her color clothing would probably be uh black and white. But let's go with white for now. And let's see here. The big guy, the cat girl shaman. I was thinking maybe she's dressed in black. Maybe she's a black cat. Signifying, bad luck. Because she can't really do anything. She can't really do anything. At least she can't really do the things she wants to do. She's trying to be evil, but she's so bad at being evil, everything she does turns good or helps someone out. Let's see. Let's see. Genghis Khan, I say for the twist part, have some kind of dangerous monster accidentally released or summoned by the main characters. Then that guy shows off his powers and defeats the monster, showing his powers. I think that's a good place to go. That way we have a physical confrontation with between the main characters that we have so far, and we can have a physical confrontation for our test. The test, I'm thinking the test might be like an enchanted creature that gets stronger every time you attack it the wrong way. So if you go head first, if you like attack it with brute force, it just absorbs your power and gets stronger. And you have to attack it the right way at the right time or something. There's a trick to fighting this creature. And let's see. Flying Turret 208, have the Fox Enchantress captured during Leeds exams where he's failing, adrenaline kicks in, and he does something to save the Enchantress in front of the school staff who are powerless. Could be. Board enthusiast. So then we go to the first third of the pilot, with the absent-minded MC following Foxgirl, who, well, the audience follows them around the huge school and meeting other characters. The development, I think, in this instance, will be the school being introduced, like the world being introduced. The introduction here will be the main character and the Fox Enchantress, and she lays out how things are. So she says, well, you have to pass an entry exam, and you're fools because you didn't know about all this or something like that. And but she secretly likes him because he just helped her survive. And but she maps out everything. She goes, oh, here's your professors, the professors, the school. Here's the history of the school, and what kind of people go there. So it's mainly there for either rich kids or really, really talented kids. So it's really prestigious. And she goes towards the, she details the history, and she explains that, yeah, this is why I was practicing in the first place, so that I can make sure I have a trick up my sleeve before I head in. Because you have to pass an entry exam, and the development will be actually walking through the school, seeing how rigid and high intense pressure it is. It's kind of like going to Harvard or something. And then we end development by actually going into the entry exam, and the entry exam will lead us to the actual exam, them taking place in the actual exam. And then the end of the development will be them at the lowest point. Then the twist takes place, and the twist will be that the main character is actually really powerful. So I think throughout most of the development, the Enchantress will have to be carrying them both. So the main character is kind of like dead weight until the twist occurs. That's what I'm thinking. Let's see here. Let's see. Let us see. Hex Harper, I missed the original Let's Write a Manga episode, so I don't know if anyone else has brought this up. Has anyone mentioned the book Manga in Theory and Practice? It's a good read. I don't think anyone has, as far as I remember, but it might be a good read. I don't think I've heard of that book, but it sounds interesting. Dandy Spike, I go with purple for the protagonist. Okay, see, it could be either purple or blue. Flying Turret 208. I would have said crimson tarnished blue due to how things are. SD Ravana, the main character, accidentally invokes an incident or an ancient and forgotten power This draws attention to the school personnel and passes the test. I think that's where we're going. I think that might be the way to go. SD Ravana, however, the MC finds himself unable to repeat that feat. Yeah, I think that's where we might be going, because at the end of this episode, it's going to be, oh, look, he's really cool. He tapped into some powers, and the end, it's going to be, hey, all right, he's going to pass this test, no problem, and he can't, and he gets in trouble, and he gets graded. He passes, but he's like the lowest. You know, he's the lowest ranked. You know how Japanese love their ranks. So he's going to be basically like Saitama. He's really powerful, but something happened, and he's actually one of the lowest ranked heroes, or one of the lowest ranked students in the entire school. So let's see. Genghis Khan. How about red and blue for the Dragon Sorcerer? Good old Optimus Prime color scheme. I think let's go ahead and go with one color. It's basically just there to help as a shorthand tell us about their personality and how they act. Let's see. The board enthusiast. Shorthand and an outline are very efficient formats for storytelling. Oh yeah. Let's see here. Flying Turret 208. My color choice is green for Shaman, gray for Priestess, crimson tarnished blue for Lead, shimmering yellow for Enchantress, and black from the Wizard. That could be. Maybe I went with red because she had like a fiery, but maybe if you want to go black with the Wizard Girl, it's more like she's cruel, kind of like a ice-like, like a dark sorcerer sort of feel. That's why I went with the. I guess the shaman wouldn't be that way. She wants to be cruel, but she isn't. So I think we'll go with red for the shaman, because I think we can see her as highly energetic, and trying to be really energetic, being evil, but can't. So I think that might be the better way to go. So the shaman can be red, meaning he's a very very passionate, very ambitious, and with a big personality. With a huge, gigantic personality. And I think that will fit well with the Catgirl Shaman. A Hex Harper, the real twist could be that the two characters ended up taking somebody else's final exam instead of the entry one. So that could work. that for some reason, something happens, and they end up taking a final exam instead of the entry exam. And the final exam would be like facing some sort of ancient mystical beast. Well, everyone is like going around trying to, I don't know, capture ravens with their magic. They're fighting off this legendary animal. SD Ravana, plot twist. Some teachers want to use the protagonist's power to resurrect a dead god or reshape the world. Well, this is an anime, so that'll fit, actually. The board enthusiast. Sounds good. Yeah, I think it sounds good. Them actually accidentally being. I think I like the idea better that we go with that. But maybe there's like a Snape professor who wants to weed out all the. Well, he's kind of an elitist, so he'll like the wizard girl, but he would hate the main character and the enchantress because they're poor or something, because they don't come from very famous families. Or at least they don't come from families who are still famous. As you remember, I think the Dragon Sorcerer's family is in decline, so this professor might not want the main character to attend the school because he feels like it tarnishes the name of the school or something. Now, Flying Turret 208, she draws all the attention. Black does that. Black is cold and calculative. Yeah, so I think that's a good color for the Wizard Girl. And let's see. 50 colors with the character. Let's see. A board enthusiast. 50 shades of character. 50 shades of characters. It sounds like a how to write sort of book, like a self-help on how to write 50 shades of characters. Yeah, so we're going to have the main character be, his color be blue. You know how, if you've seen Death Note, right? The L's color is blue and Kira's color is red because Kira is the one passionate about everything. Well, L is more reclusive, more calculating, and a lot more friendly. So that's why it's nice to have color shorthand. And let's see. So the introduction, we decided that the Enchantress gets herself into some sort of trouble. So he's walking to school. He's walking on the road to school, and the Enchantress is practicing a spell. And maybe it's a maybe she's practicing at a lake or something, and she is trying to enchant the water with her new magical spell, but it goes wrong, and she accidentally creates a giant water golem or something. Like it's a giant water monster that's just going on a rampage. But this time it's about it's like timed. So all they really had to do was survive long enough. But she wouldn't have survived long enough without the main character because she kind of spent all of her magic trying to cast the spell. Let's see. Sesti Ravana is the Enchantress of Tsundere. Which one is that? Which one is the Tsundere? Is that the one where she's secretly likes him and but is mean to him to hide her feelings? Because I think that'd probably be the wizard. I think she is pretty friendly, but I'm seeing that the Fox Enchantress as pretty kooky, yet also friendly, but also kind of rigid, kind of like obsessed with her goals a little bit. Not as obsessed as the wizard girl, but more like she is trying to achieve her goal of being an enchantress / librarian. And the tough isn't like I like you. Okay, so it is. I think it is that one. The one where it's like I don't know. I made too many cookies, and now you can have some, but don't get the wrong idea, sort of thing. Okay, okay. So what do you think? What do you think, chat? Would you like to have the enchantress? I think it'd be a good idea if the enchantress gets herself into trouble. Like it's not just a happen chance occurrence. Let's see. Let's see. Mr. Ravana the Tsundere secretly likes the MC, but calls him Baka all the time to hide what she really feels. I think that'd probably be the wizard. I think that'd be fitting of the wizard a little bit, kind of like the trope melting of the Ice Queen. The board enthusiast. What if the enchantress accidentally summons a huge demon, and the MC comes in his form and transform from form to save her? He transforms back. Who are you? Wham. Bam. Thank you, ma'am. We got the intro. I think we can. I think that's we could do that halfway, like because I think the twist should be a full revelation of his powers, and we don't under. I think we can do a bait and switch. So here's what I have in mind: the enchantress gets herself into trouble, accidentally maybe summoning a water demon instead of performing her trick that she wanted to perform, or she enchants the water into it becoming a monster because she's practicing at a lake or something. And then they sort of the MC jumps in and maybe saves her life at the last moment because she's frozen, and the MC comes in and tackles her out of the way. You know how that goes. And then she goes, "Who are you?" And like he goes, "We have to run." And so it's running, and they're running from the creature, and then they kind of get cornered, and the main character's eyes glow. And before he does anything, the creature kind of just dissipates. And the fox girl thinks it's about it must have been on a time limit. So maybe the spell only lasted maybe a few minutes, and then it kind of dissipated on its own, and they got lucky that way. And then during the twist section, we get to see that it wasn't on a time limit. Is that the main character unwittingly dissipated the monster, kind of disenchanted the enchantment, kind of on instinct. Flying Turret 208. I'm not too familiar with the terms, but of the ones I know, the enchantress is closer to a yandere. Okay, I don't know the terms either. I don't know these specific terms. Which one's a yandere? Flying Turret 208. It'd still be a happen chance, but less so. Let's go with Enchantress causes a problem. Don't forget a big initial drawback to his powers at first unlocking them. Oh yeah. Maybe he gets that's what kind of maybe he gets really exhausted. Like he's really exhausted, can't really do that much magic until he has a chance to rest. Because he's not used to it. He doesn't have he might have the power, but he doesn't have the fortitude or the stamina to withstand that power. I imagine it'd be like a you all of a sudden being able to run 1,000 miles an hour for a few seconds. And then you having after it goes away, you feeling the effects of that. Let's see. Being a yandere means that Enchantress is even more obsessed with the main character than the tsundere. Okay. Is that the one where they're like really protective or something? Like if another girl starts showing him the slightest bit of attention, she would want to kill that girl. Is that the one? I think I heard of that archetype. Flying Turret 208, Lake comes alive when she tried to create water that shapes into a certain way. Yeah, that might be the a way to go. Maybe she's trying to manipulate water like a water bender or something, and then she accidentally brings it to life as a big gigantic water golem or something. The board enthusiast. I personally think the fox girl being the brain should be a mysterious kundere. Okay, what is a kundere? You have to explain these terms to me. I don't know these. I don't know all these anime terms. I just know the structure. Flying Turret 208. Fox girl is a perv, so yandere seems to fit best. We're gonna argue. You're gonna argue about what kind of girl she is. Is she a tsundere, yandere, kundere? It's gonna be the biggest argument we're gonna have. No, Dandy Spike, no yanderes, please. I find that trope disturbing. Hex Harper, Mother's Basement explains the harem archetypes pretty well and is one of his vids. SD Ravana, what if the accident caused by the Enchantress wasn't an accident, but an event secretly caused on purpose by one of the teachers, that's the MC and the Enchantress? I think it'd be better if we start off with just them alone, and we get to see kind of how smart the Enchantress is because she just summoned a gigantic, powerful monster on accident. But we get to see how limited she is because she couldn't really control it, and it wasn't what she was trying to do in the first place. And then that would cause our opening little conflict. Flying Turret 208, don't forget being an evil psychopath to his evil blood. Yeah. I think every time he taps into his magic, he gets a little bit more cruel, a little bit more sadistic. Kind of like if you ever watch Dragon Ball Z, kind of like how Goku, the higher tier of a Super Saiyan he is, the more cruel and mean he becomes. Like going back into that bestial mode. Let's see. The board enthusiast. So do they end up at the school in the scope of the episode plot, or is the whole episode him walking to the building? I mean, that's a good question. The whole pilot could be them, uh, taking on a challenge and then them getting to the school. Maybe the whole episode revolves around them trying to get to school on time. And okay, she could say that, oh, they could hear the chimes of the school bell going off, and then them having to hurry over there, but they're being stopped by some other obstacle or something. Like, and then the episode ends with them finally arriving at school and making it just on time to the entry exam. That could happen. That could happen. So let's see. Flying Turret 208, Yandere Simulator, go killing every woman. The board enthusiast, think of a male stalker, a murderous stalker. Make them female. That's a yandere in a nutshell. Okay, I'm pretty sure. I get what we're talking about now. Okay, so the yandere is that really psychotic one. Let's see, Flying Turret 208. I just know tsundere and yandere, probably a better term, but my limited range, yandere is the best description. Okay, tsundere is smart, mysterious, and don't say much. Basic computer-like, but they end up opening up the main character and deeper than they let on. Okay, yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. Especially because she's supposed to be the smart person of the group. So that'll work. That'll work. Maybe she's a very stern type, I guess. Kind of like kind of keeps to herself, sort of reserved, only speaking when she needs to speak. That sort of character. That could work. SD Ravana, I think the beginning of the episode is pretty well defined. I think we should focus on how we would like it to end and build the middle of the episode from there. That's a good idea. And let's see, Flying 228, that's half the Enchantress from my understanding. Sounds good. Board Enthusiast, MC reaches the school, to be continued. Yeah, I think we might go with that. Give us allow us breathing room with the plot. And Flying 228 that gets to no action, possible moment, and to be continued. Yeah, so I think that's how we're going to have to do it, because this is, I think, normal episodes of anime usually end sort of some sort of cliffhanger anyway. So yeah, let's do that. We'll make the plot revolve around them trying to get to the school on time. So after the introduction is over, the school bell will ring, and that will be our development. That will spark the plot, the actual plot of them trying to get to the school on time, because that'll be a perfect segue into the development. So here's what we're gonna do. Let's see. Fox Enchantress is casting a practice, a secret practice spell. Spell turns Lake into a monster. The main character. Let's see here. The main character tackles her out of the way just in time to save her. So let's see. And let's see. SD Ravana, don't forget the Don. There's another one, Don Dandere, which is the shy girl that secretly loves the protagonist but is too afraid to confess. Example, Hinata from Naruto. Okay, I think it's the one with those weird gray eyes, right? I think. All right. Flying 208. So wait, did the Enchantress previously know the devil? If not, why? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think she's just a student, but she might know about these things. I mean, she's a smart guy, so her job is to, as from a writing perspective, her job is to know things. So if something needs to be explained, then it's her who will be explaining everything. It's her who will be explaining everything. So if there's some obscure piece of information that the characters need to know, it'll be this Fox Girl Enchantress who will be explaining these things in detail. She's kind of like Hermione in that sense. So just in time to save her, and then, well, since everything is going to happen before they get to the school, the whole episode is leading up to them walking into the school on time before the doors close. I mean, that'll be our signal. Okay, they have to get into the school before the doors close. Like the front doors are open, and all the students are heading in, and they know that the Enchantress knows that the doors will close at, I don't know, 3 o'clock sharp. Like at 3 p.m. sharp, the doors will close, and everyone who's left outside will be rejected from even attempting to take the entry exam. So then we will have to have a development. So after the monster vanishes seemingly on its own. Perhaps maybe maybe it goes away. Vanishes due to the main character hidden power. Monster goes away to the two characters can talk, code exposition. So then, and now that we've seen, we'll get a visual depiction of things happening. Okay, we'll get a visual depiction of things happening here, and then she can explain pretty much what we just seen. So we can see her passing a spell. We don't know what's exactly going on. We just know there's a monster going on, and then the monster vanishes after they run away from it, and maybe the main character summons it away due to his power on accident. And then she starts explaining everything. Like, this is how I cast a spell. This is why I was casting that spell. They talk about the school, and then development happens when school chimes ring. School bell rings. We learn about entry exam, and they probably see the school from where they are. It's kind of distant. They probably see it from where they are. That way, the audience has a little visual of where we're going. So the school bell rings. That starts our development. The school bell rings. We learn that the doors will close at 3 p.m. sharp. Anyone left outside will be unable to take the entry exam. Okay. Let's see. Flying Turret 208, I feel like we originally decided the Enchantress was a close friend to the dragon. We kind of left it up in the air. We're not really sure if she was a friend or if she was going to be kind of the first person she met. But I think we can go ahead and make it the first person met by the main character. This way, it opens up the door so that she can explain everything to the main character who knows nothing. And we get a reason why it wasn't explained to the main character by her before all this. I think this might be the better way to go, narrative wise, especially since we're just introducing everything, and through the main character, we're able to learn things as he learns things, and especially learn things from the smart person of the group. The board enthusiasts wait, so the monster just goes away. That takes away the merit of the MC tackling Foxgirl all the way. What if it ends up being unleashed and causing havoc later on in the episode? So that's the thing I was trying to decide. Then now that it's going to be kind of like the whole episode is them getting there. Should the monster go away? So I was thinking that at first the monster would just dissipate due to seemingly a time limit, and then seemingly due to secretly the main character banishing it away. So maybe because he can't control it, the monster didn't die or go away, but the monster was transported somewhere. That way, it's still in play. I think we can have S.E. Ravana. I think we can have a heavy hint that it wasn't due to a time limit. The Foxgirl just thinks it was, and the main character has no idea what the difference. So the main character believes it, but it'd be dramatic irony. That's what it'll be called, dramatic irony. That we know it was the main character who did it, who probably did it, because we saw a sign. But as far as the main character and the Foxgirl Enchantress knows, it was a time limit that was apparently in the spell. Let's see. Flying Turret 208 with the protagonist is going to start off alone. Yeah, I think he's going to be like a loner, and then kind of not too many friends. That way we can have the power of friendship thing. That's so important in these shows. So he has no friends, and then he starts gradually earning them, kind of like how Yugi does. He can start off as a little nerdy kid with no friends, and then he starts gaining friends once he earns a power. So it could be more or less like that. Let's see. With Destiny Ravana, I think it would be better if the episode made explicit the monster has vanished. Dragon's secret power. Yeah, we can do that. It'd be dramatic irony. We know it's the protagonist who probably did it, but the protagonist and the Foxgirl thing, it was just a timer. that the spell would run out. Flying Tour 208, it's due to filter. Some stuff doesn't post because of it. Okay. I think, yeah, there is a filter on YouTube. Unfortunately, I'm not getting, I guess I'm not able to okay messages for whatever reason, but that's alright. SD Ravana, having the monster vanishing out of nowhere diminishes the merit of the protagonist's actions. So there will be no harem in episode 1. Yeah, there's no harem yet. I think even in I haven't seen very many harem animes. The only harem anime I've technically seen, I guess, would be Clanad. But in Clanad, I think a different sort of harem members, I guess you could say, were, I think, introduced gradually. I think most of them were introduced in the first episode, but more came in gradually, I think. With the main one being introduced first off. Board enthusiast. Oh, so the main character eyes glow or something, which indicates something happened, and the monster disappears. Audience knows, but the Fox Girl have no idea what happened. Yeah. So the Fox Girl doesn't really have a definitive idea of what happened. She just kind of guesses. Like, oh, so the monster vanishes at the last moment. I think that meant that she thinks it means that the spell had a timer on it. So she goes, okay, so, and she explains it because she explains her reasoning because that's the way she is. And she goes, the main character says, like, what happened? Why is the monster gone? And the Fox Girl gets up, dusts herself off, and explains. She pushes up her glasses dramatically, and she explains, oh, it's because this magical principle, and blah 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 blah. This is how sometimes spells work. Sometimes if a powerful spell is created or something, it's not permanent. If it's created easily, but it's powerful, that it comes with a timer. So it can never be permanent if it's powerful, unless you do it by other means. Like unless you put in more energy or effort, or do it in a different manner that is more costly to the caster. But if she did it really easily, then it might have just had a timer or something. Right? That's the way she explains it. She explains it in some sort of technical magical terms. But the audience knows that it's probably not true, even though the Fox Girl and the main character think it is. Esti Ravana, during the episode, revealed to the audience that the teacher from the magical school was watching from afar all along. Yeah. And, I was thinking that one of the professors, imagine if Voldemort if Voldemort sort of kind of did what he did in the first movie, but instead of being a leech onto one of the other teachers, Voldemort kind of became a teacher. And Voldemort was a teacher during all the years of Harry Potter was in school. I think that would be interesting. So nobody really notices that he's like some sort of Dark Lord, but he's just kind of there in disguise. I think that could work if we do it correctly, and that would be the main antagonist. And no one believes them, of course. No one believes them, so that's a tough way to go for the main characters, because they're going to have to fight a teacher with none of the other teachers allowed to disagree. Like none of the other teachers can step in and say, "Hey, these kids are right." They have to do everything in secret. They're trying to destroy this guy's plans in secret. But we probably will be introduced to him in this episode. But the main characters probably won't be introduced to him into the second one. Let's see. So I think that'll work. The evil, maybe that's how things happen. Maybe the teacher was looking at them because he can sense the power of the devil dragon inside the protagonist. And he's like, what's going over here? And he kind of emerges from the bushes or something, and he sees everything that's happening, the monster and everything, and he figures out that, oh look, they just teleported it somewhere, and he goes to that monster and he infuses it with more power, and that's what happens. That's what the obstacle becomes. Is a version of that monster that is doubled in strength. Hex Harper, what if the monster appears in the doorway of the school? They fight it, and the monster's corpse hold the door open for them to walk inside. I think that could work. Maybe turns into an ice monster. and the doors are closing. Like they're running out of time. It's the last few seconds, and the doors are closing, and they would have been left out of the school had the monster not been either killed or tripped up, and his body keeps the door open for them. Esti Irvana, I enjoy the idea of the monster reappearing. However, the protagonist fails to use his powers to neutralize it, and is one of the teachers who defeats the monsters this time. The possibility. A board enthusiast, but also be aware that what the Fox Girl establishes, it becomes the permanent rules to explain the audience how the magic works in the world. Yeah, that'll be the idea. Because I mean, we kind of have to establish some rules of the magic in this world for it, because it'd be a lot easier and make a lot more sense, because this is a magic centric series. Ergo, it would have to apply all the time. Yeah, so we're gonna have to establish the rules, and that's one of the main concerns here, to establish at least the basic rules to magic in this world. The board enthusiast, if the rules of magic are broken on a whim, the audience will lose trust in the rules. And notice how shaky the convenient the magic of the world is. Please be careful. Yeah, that's where you get Deus Ex Machina, where hey, I thought the magic worked this way. It's kind of like how in Yu-Gi-Oh he can all of a sudden bend the rules to cards so that he can win. I grew up watching Yu-Gi-Oh a long time ago, so I think it was on Cartoon Network or something. Sometimes I remember saying like, "Hey, this is nonsense." What do you mean you can just the cards just do what he says they do? This doesn't make any sense. Why would you play? Why would the other guy play that otherwise? Let's see. The board enthusiast. That would be hilarious. You have the monster kept the doors open. So I think that's what we might do. The development is that the school bells are ringing. Time is ticking down now. They have to make it by 3 p.m. sharp, or else the doors will close on them, and they won't even be able to even attempt to take the entry exam. I think that's where we're going to go with here. And so they take off towards the school. Meanwhile, they are being watched by a shadowy figure. And the figure mutters something about the main character, or probably about being surprised that something so powerful has taken the form of something so puny looking as the main character. So we get to see that he knows more than he's letting on, and he's knowledgeable about what's going on, and he seems to know already the potential hiding within the main character. And after that, decides to test the two characters. And finds that the monster was only teleported, then energizes the monster. And let's see. It's called cheating. Deal with it. Let's see. Board enthusiast in Star Wars TFA. It starts about not being about just lifting rocks. And what does Rey do at the end after Learning nothing, lifting a friggin' rocks out of the cave as Deus Ex Machina. Yeah, that was pretty bad. That was pretty bad. the, all of the Star Wars movies that were made by Disney are pretty bad. Maybe except Solo, which managed to make it out okay. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Star Wars event was uncalled for. No, it's always they deserve it. It's always good to rant and rave about the Disney Star Wars because they are horrible, horrible movies made by horrible people. Let's see, the Cool 009 IRC, the first series made before the card game, so things weren't really set in stone. Think I heard something along those lines. Yeah, if you're talking about Yu-Gi-Oh, the Yu-Gi-Oh first or season 0, I think is what it's called, is really dark. It's basically if you combined the Saw movies with Cthulhu magic. That's pretty much what Yu-Gi-Oh was, and then they turned into a card game show. So I recommend season 0, or at least the manga version of it. Esther Ivana, twist suggestion. Both of them fail to get to school on time. However, a powerful figure from the shadows has taken notice of their actions and claims to offer a much better training than the school. Possibly, possibly. Folux, Mudboy has exhaustively gone over how current Star Wars doesn't care about coherency, lore, consistency, well, anything really. Yeah, I probably was on some of those streams, in fact. Ian Bear, yay, a better late than never. Hi, boys. Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the stream. It's not too late. Not too late. So I think it would be best if we went with the earlier suggestion of them making it under their own power, and just by sheer luck that the monster kind of puts itself in the way of the closing doors. So far in development, at the end of the introduction, we have them, them getting away with summoning the monster on accident, then the monster vanishing seemingly because of a time limit, but we know as the audience that the main character had actually vanished it away, had teleported it, and then once the monster goes away, the two characters talk, they introduce each other, introduce themselves to each other. We get exposition. We get a little taste of how the magic works in this world, some of the rules. Learn about the school, the setting, the teachers, etc. And we learn about the entry exam. The entry exam that every wizard has to take just to have a hopeful chance of getting accepted. And then the development begins when the school bell rings. We learn that the doors will close at 3 p.m. sharp. The Fox Girl tells us that the doors will close at 3 p.m. sharp, and if you're not inside the school by 3 p.m., you will be forbidden from taking the exam in the first place. So you will never even have a chance to fail or succeed. Anyone left outside will be unable to take the entry exam. They take off towards the school. Meanwhile, they're being watched by a shadowy figure. This figure is like I don't know, one of the turns out to be one of the professors. The professor of dark arts or something, and the figure mutters something about being surprised about something so powerful taking the form of something so puny, looking as the main character, hinting to us that he knows more than he appears, and that there is more than what might we be seeing on the screen. That there's hidden secrets somewhere. That'll give us the doorway to add in powers or whatever we need to later on. And then we have figure decides to test the characters. So he decides to put the main character to the test by finding the monster that was teleported, either re-energizing it, bringing it back to life, and then filling it with strength, or just filling it with strength again, like doubling or tripling its power, and then sending it back. And then we have that won't be the end. The two characters encounter the monster again. Two characters encounter the monster again. And then the monster is blocking their path. The monster blocking their path. Time is ticking down. Let's see here. The main character and the enchantress have to fight. The main character is useless. The fox girl enchantress. She unleashes a powerful spell that seemingly destroys the monster, but then the monster reforms, still blocking their path. So that is the end of the development. We get to see how it's developing towards this monster being kind of a actual challenge. It's a lot stronger now, and it is really blocking their path, and time is ticking down towards 3 p.m. See the board enthusiast? Didn't we learn not to talk to strangers? What does the shadowy figure test them on? Well, and I think in this scenario, he can sense the power. He can actually sense the power inside the main character, and he's surprised as I noted here that he's really surprised that because he can sense the main character is a sorcerer. He can sense the devil dragon blood inside the sorcerer main character. So you can sense it. So he's saying, "Wow, that's why he's out there in the first place because the devil dragon sorcerer main character is heading towards the school, and the evil teacher kind of sensed it and said, "Whoa, what's that? I sense a sorcerer." So he goes out there and expecting to see this really powerful wizard, this really powerful magic user, and then he sees the boy, and he says, "Well, maybe I should test him just to make sure he is who I think he is." So he juices up the monster, sends it at him again, and that's the test we're going over. I see Ravana. Don't forget the anime opening always play at the end of the first episode. It's true. McCool not 009 twist the monster joins the harem. It's like an ice girl or something. The board enthusiast. What if the stranger casts a spell on Fox Girl and tries to get the MC to reveal the true form? He'd be under the gun to use magic he can't control. It would build tension. I think that would be a good plot point for the second episode. So, like, by the time this episode ends, the friendship between the Fox Girl and the main character will be solidified, and that I think that would be a good twist to add because I think the second episode is going to involve their entry exam. It's going to totally revolve around the entry exam. So I think that would be a good twist, so that when it looks like they're going to pass their entry exam, the mysterious teacher comes out and takes over the Fox Girl's mind, and suddenly they have he has a dilemma to work through. So I think that's a good plot point for the second episode. So yeah, well, I'll keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. But for now, I think the main obstacle should be how powerful and or unstoppable this monster is. So towards the end of the development, the monster has taken one of the most powerful spells the Fox Girl can use, and then it reforms itself or something. It doesn't destroy the monster. It's still very much a danger to them, and is still in their way. And so the Fox Girl is probably gets a Fox Girl is wounded or hurt by the monster, and then the main character is still useless until the monster goes for the kill on Fox Girl. And then twist the I see we're going to end it with we're going to end the development with The shadowy figure shakes his head, seeing that both are about to die, and turns to leave. Seems hopeless to them. The situation seems hopeless. Then we have the twist. Main character's true form is revealed. Fox Girl is awake, but only halfway. She in a daze watches the main character transform and battle the monster. Let's see. Let's see. Born Enthusiast. What if the evil teacher was purposely using the monster to stall our heroes from taking the entrance exam? That could be a motive too. It could be a motive too. The same method would be used, trying to send a giant monster to a souped up monster to go at least delay them long enough. By the way, they did animate season 0 of Yu-Gi-Oh, but they toned things down a lot, even the Japanese version. Well, that's unfortunate because the in the manga version they're playing like table hockey with a literal ice puck made of ice, but in the middle of the ice puck was like a bomb, and they're playing on a hot pan. It's like a table that was made out of metal that you heat up and you cook on it. And as they both played, the ice would melt because it was hot, and then once the ice melts and the little bomb inside touches the hot part of the slab, it'll explode and kill the person it's closest to. So that's the kind of thing that goes on in the original Yu-Gi-Oh. It's pretty good. Steve Ravana, the twist: the monster kills the protagonist during the fight, but the mysterious power resurrects him. The protagonist shrugs it off as a flesh wound. That could possibly happen. That's why the guy turns away. That's why the shadowy figure turns away. Let's see, Mason's hopeless. Let's see here. The main character runs in to help, but is seemingly killed. The main character twist is main character rises back up and reveals his true form. I'll get rid of this one. I would get rid of a preposition. Okay, Fox Girl is awake, but only halfway. She, in a daze, watches the main character transform and battle the monster. Ian Barrier, the pilot ends on a cliffhanger, and maybe the big guy makes the entrance right at the end. Possible. Brent Thomas, LD, just writing out a script in a year. In a year, we're getting the actual manga of this. Could be. Born Enthusiast, the situation seems hopeless. Hopeless. I thought this was a harem anime. Maybe they're all proper. Not one of them is a hoe. When we watch the main character transform, reveals his true form. The main character picks up Fox Girl and defeats the monster with an overwhelming spell. The monster is blasted between the closing doors to the school. Allowing them to enter. DMC carrying Foxtrot over his shoulder. The boss. There you go. I think that's how that part will end. Full my least favorite trope in anime right now is main character who's oblivious to the affections of other characters. It's tired trope. Well, unfortunately, since this is going to be a harem anime, that's going to have to be. It's going to have to be oblivious to the affections of the other characters. Otherwise, harem anime really doesn't work, I don't think. Ian Barrier, I call writing the official TTRPG for the setting. Go ahead. Vault Kobold, please no cliffhangers mid-action, as I hate that with a passion. Well, we have to do that. It's an anime. And Born Through This, what if the MC forgets about the fight, but he transforms back? Yeah, I think that's where we might go. Is that he kind of transforms into another person because he's kind of like not balanced. If anyone has seen Rurouni Kenshin, it's kind of like he kind of reverts into someone else when he taps into his power. Again, he becomes more cruel and sadistic when he's tapping into that power. Let's see. So they make it inside. The conclusion being, they make it just in time. The shadowy figure is intrigued. We see the man standing with the other teachers at orientation. And see the headmaster introduces himself, introduces the school, and commends everyone for attending. Concludes. I know what we can do. Give a quick snapshot of the other potential characters. We get a glimpse. Basically, we get a glimpse of all the other people that they're going to be interacting with. So at this, they probably won't have any lines or even do anything, but we get to see them. Get to see a glimpse of the wizard, the cat girl, and I think that's it. Besides the priestess, and the priestess probably wouldn't be there. And the priestess, who is attending for some reason. Looking in through a window. Let's see. Born Enthusiast, he carries her like a boss. He defeats the monster like a boss. He transforms like a boss. He's oblivious like an employee's assistant. Yeah, pretty much. S.C. Ravana, the MC, forgot about the fight because his soul of a demon trapped inside of him. The demon took over the MC's corpse during the fight. Yeah. That could work. I think it'd be good if he's oblivious, at least for now. And he gradually kind of like as he uses the powers more. He kind of starts to remember and starts to be able to tap into that side of him and be able to control it without him being dead. Polo, funnily enough, the anime that arguably started the trope, Tenchi Muyo, actually does have Tenchi pick one at the end. Yeah, I remember Tenchi Muyo. It was a really good show. It has a lot of like lasers and fighting and stuff. It was really cool. Ian Barrier, Borg Enthusiast has it right. Yeah. He does all kinds of cool stuff, but he's oblivious, like an employee's assistant. He also wasn't oblivious to their affections either. He just wasn't sure what to do. And that could work. That could work. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes because we'll get more of a sense of that aspect of the series in the second episode. Let's see here. I go work. Go back. Catch this when I get back. Well, good luck. Good luck at work. Born Enthusiast, can you write to be continued at the end? I sure can. Folo, there's also Ranma 1/2 in which Ranma isn't really oblivious to their affections at all. Nick Beers, where's the transfer student? She's in there. She's already in the crowd. And then we get to see their backstories and their characterization as they're actually introduced into the party. Looking through a window, the headmaster concludes by saying, "Let the entry exams begin." To be continued. And that is the skeletal outline of our first of the pilot episode of this series. Let's see. Denny Spike, now a real question, anime opening, how much Japanese but rock are we talking? I don't know. Whatever fits, I guess. Whatever fits. But I think we have a good start here. Go ahead and end it here. And we'll think about maybe we'll do a episode 2 just to flesh out the story a little bit more. Next time we'll do an episode 2. Tomorrow, Sunday, will still be the patron only stream. So I will set that up probably tomorrow at some time. Let's see. Oh, that's it. Thanks everyone for joining me tonight. I think it was fun. I hope you all had fun. And we have a pretty promising start to our very own anime/manga series. And I am in talks with an artist, so maybe we can get some visuals in here for maybe next time or eventually. So maybe this could be an actual thing we'll make. And if not a prose, maybe we can actually make this into a manga. We'll see. The possibilities are endless and open. I have some people who might be interested and possibly taking commissions on this. So we'll see what ends up happening. All right, everyone, have a good night. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you all next time.